We started out not 24 hours after the last upload on the hacker's trail, and we had almost tracked them down when everything went absolutely wrong. I don't know if I can recount the last 3 weeks as I do heists. As things often go in these retellings, the details are a bit graphic, but in this case I'm not sure it would be very prudent to share exactly what happened. Michael follows these uploads now, and I'm sure he isn't interested in reliving the experience. To give context before I begin, the Sunday I am about to reference is the 30th of October, the day of the last upload. When we made the plans Sunday night and began putting them to use Monday morning, everything was running smoothly. There were a few generic hiccups, of course, but those are to be expected during an investigation. Terry and Jerry brought equipment over to my house that was unidentifiable by myself and worked with Michael for quite a while. They worked fairly late that night. I had no idea what they were doing, but I suppose it must have been a rather complicated process. We forced a brief pause for a late dinner, and afterwards there was a small upset regarding what one of them had been running. Again, I'm not good with computers. I can move files and send emails, and that is, for the most part, all I require of a computer as part of my daily routine. After the short upset from one of them regarding one of their programs, they worked a while longer, then we retired for the night as a group. We got up early the next morning to examine what they had found, and just as we finished lunch and were about to continue our work, we were attacked, I suppose you could say. I wouldn't call it an ambush, as the security system I have in place did warn us with plenty of time to not be surprised when they eventually breached the house. We were well prepared for who showed up initially, but as we realized they had friends, we also realized it was not a fight we would be winning. Luckily, I reside in a bit more isolated an area, even if I do technically live in town. There is little chance my neighbors suspected anything awry, and even if they did, they didn't do anything about it as far as I can tell. There was no crime tape around the property when I got back early this morning, nor a police cruiser at my door as we were abducted that Monday afternoon. I am good enough at retaining a civilian's lifestyle to an outsider, but most likely strange-looking enough that it wouldn't be too out of place for cars a neighbor has never seen before to appear here. I am not personally aware of what exactly happened after that, or rather how, but we were brought to a facility owned by another criminal power in the city. I had never met them before, but they had quite the operation going on. It quickly became clear to me that they were new in the area and looking to step right up into the ranks. It wasn't hard to deduce why they had come for me specifically either. I'm the most powerful they can get at in the area. It was just unfortunate that I had people at my house when they showed up, I suppose. Both the lastings and those just above me are definitely out of their reach. I shouldn't talk about these people in present tense, really. They aren't much of anything at this point. They utilized some rather aggressive methods in their attempts to extract information from me. We were gone for a few weeks, and that should say enough. I am not aware of the methods used on the others, but Michael will not talk to me, and Cole has been doing anything they can possibly think of since we got back. Jerry and Terry have already gone home. Michael can't go home to his parents in his state, I know that much, and Cole probably doesn't want to be alone. We were isolated from each other for 19 days. The Anzels have always been better alone together. As for what to do now, well, I will attempt to bring things back to normalcy. The group that had us is disbanded, I suppose you could say. Really, we killed all of the ones we could get our hands on, and the rest fled. To be fair, they were doing a very good job of keeping us in line up until then. It was one tiny slip that gave me the opportunity I needed. If it hadn't been for that, I don't know where we would be now. I dealt with a situation like this with my first crew. It was why we aren't a crew anymore, actually. The one we trusted the most in our group sold us out because they were afraid. We did not have a great time, and we couldn't handle it afterward. I still don't know where a few of them disappeared to. I'm vaguely in contact with one of them. The rest are hanging around somewhere, probably drug addicts or something along those lines. I'm not interested in all of that again. If I've expended the energy necessary and chosen to become friends of all things with Cole and Michael, I'm not going to let them leave because of this. I've said I don't want to relive the experience, and I'm going to try my hardest not to let that happen. Sitting back isn't my style, even if it was back then. This week is going to be damage control. I will update next Sunday. You can find me at diaryofamastermind@gmail.com. Thank you for listening.